Good afternoon. Oh! Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dan-A-Plooza. My guest at this time is actor Mark Tierno.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Dan?
Good to see you, Mark. Let's get right into some questions, shall we?
Sure.
Tell me what it was like working on the set.
I thought I was going to have to ask you questions. But...
Oh, that happens too. I'm okay with that.
I'm like, what do I say? No, go ahead. I'm just
tell me what it was like on the set of Day of the Dead and working with George Romero.
Okay, it was incredible. It was great because he, as other people have said, he was an actor's director.
Awesome.
He if you suggested something, he would listen, and he would, let's try it. You know, when I was toward the end of one of my scenes, I was chained to the wall, and the scientist, Dr. Logan, Richard Liberty, says, I think I turned over the gurney or something.
Table, yeah.
I get mad. Yeah, I get mad because I can't get away. And he says, "You've been very bad, and I'm going to turn out the lights on you." And I said, "Why don't I? I'll whimper."
Yeah.
And like I'm scared, because I'm not quite in the movie. There's Bub, who is becoming more human, but I'm on the way, but not as far as Bub. And he turns out the lights, and I whimpered, So it was pretty effective. You can barely hear it, I think, but yeah. But that's the kind of thing he was. He had his ideas, but he would also be open to the actors and what they thought might be a good try, good thing to try. I know when I was doing Night Riders, George Romero's Night Riders, I was the troupe magician, and I suggested I could pull coins out of, I'm going to say that I think it was Stephen King's nose. And he said, "Sure, let's do it." And he shot it, but it didn't make the final edit. Yeah, but that's the kind of thing. He was always open, and it was just a very warm person. Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That was also when we talked to Jim Crut yesterday. He also said similar experiences, that you were allowed to play and create while the movie was being made.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes is really important because it adds to another layer of the scene being played out for viewers.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely adds, and you could, because that's really that's the creativity sometimes with acting, that you can do. You can add, the character on page is just two-dimensional, but you're making it three-dimensional. So, yeah. And Jim still got his head cut off, but the top of his head cut off. Yeah.
It's a casualty.
But yeah, right. But yeah, he did it. It's cool.
Can you tell us about your up and coming projects, being in the TV series A League of Their Own?
Sure. We'll be shooting. It's a small scene, but it's A League of Their Own is based on the 1992 film that is about a women's baseball team during World War II, because the guys were at war. And that part is true. There were women playing baseball. And my character is called the nutty looking dude. Thanks. And we're on it's in Illinois. It said it in like near Chicago, I guess. But I'm worried that I've organized a bunch of people to make sure the Japanese aren't going to bomb us. Like they're going to come to Illinois and bomb us. So, yeah. But it's about, it's intrigue. It's about the baseball team and the relationships with the other players, with the players and the coach. And it's starring, one of the stars is Abby Jacobson. She's also a producer, and Nick Offerman. And he is, I think, the coach of the team. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a comedy, I guess. Yeah.
And it's a completely different thing from the movie version.
Yeah, it is. It is, because in this, just reading the script, there's some lesbian relationships, and yeah. So I don't remember that in the 1992 movie. And also, I'm doing a TV pilot called Evil Tan House. And it's just wild. It's written and directed by a fellow, Chris Pataki, who is a television writer. And it's me, and I play Sister Dee Dee, a nun. Yes. I can show you a picture on my phone here, but I'm a nun, and it's also with Lori Cardill, who people from the Pittsburgh area know. Her dad, especially, who was Chilly Billy Cardilli, who was the host of Chiller Theater here in Pittsburgh, and Abby Fudor. And the three of us are nuns, and there's a evil spirit coming from the 1880s back to haunt us. And I don't believe it, and Laurie's character doesn't believe it, but Abby's is trying to convince us, and then we're not convinced until I bite into a pierogi and it's blood. It's so bizarre, pierogi, a bloody pierogi. And then I guess I change. So, but we still have a right. We still have a scene to shoot. So, but it's just, it's an offbeat comedy. Gets comedy drama kind of thing, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So we'll look forward to seeing that holy trio.
Yes, thank you. Also, I have a film I'm I guess co-lead in, called A Fancy Piece of Homicide, and it's currently screening on Amazon Prime.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Bingo O'Malley is in it. He plays a detective who had been accused of murder and went to jail for 12 years. And he's out. He's trying to clear his name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then this stranger shows up. And yeah. And
heck breaks
that stranger. Yeah. The stranger. Weird things happen. But it's really a excellent. It's a feature film. Excellent film. But I guess you call it a psychological murder mystery. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we'll look forward to that, and anything about that, we'll promote it within the page.
Oh, thanks.
Did you always want to be like an actor growing up?
I did start in like what we call junior high. I didn't really go to a junior high, but yeah, and I always really enjoyed it. I've always, and then in college, I was torn between going into psychology, but which sort of relates to acting and acting, but I chose acting. Yeah. And I'm just looking, I'm wearing a Creepshow shirt because that's another George Romero film that I was in. And this is the actual shirt, the cast and crew shirt. And I threw it in a drawer, not thinking I would ever wear it again or even remember that it was in there. And I think it's probably the last one that's left.
Oh, wow.
And it says on the back, a Laurel comic is a moral comic, because the name of the production company was Laurel. And yes, and it's signed by it's signed by Stephen King. And
oh, that's very awesome.
Yeah, it's not really signed. I mean, it's printed. But I was actually Stephen King's stand-in.
Oh, wow.
Stephen King. There's 5 stories, and one of them starred Stephen King, Jordy Verrill as Jordy Verrill, who's a hack, a country hack, I guess you'd call him. And a meteor falls to the earth, and he touches it, and he starts growing green plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably know it. And but I was his stand-in, and that was cool. He and I think when he was here, in fact, I do know, he started writing Christine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's set in. We were shooting in Monroeville, and it's set in Monroeville.
Oh, that's very awesome.
Yeah. That was cool.
It's a nice fact for all horror buffs out there.
Yes, that's right.
So what are your plans for 2022? I'm
going to do some crime, and no. I'm not absolutely certain, but I have I've been doing a lot of work recently. I'm precast in an interesting film called 116 McDougal Street, or McDougal actually. And McDougal Street is a street is a street in Greenwich Village. And on that street in the early 1960s was a coffee house called the Gaslight.
Ooh.
And the Gaslight was a place where a lot of not yet famous people started, and including Bob Dylan, David Van Ronk, Peter, Paul and Mary. It was I guess a folk scene coffee house, and the person that owned it was a guy named John Mitchell, and he was a character. He has passed away, but that's basically what this film is going to be about. And I think hopefully we're going to start shooting in 2022. I'm not absolutely certain. I think it's been put off because of COVID, but we did a stage production because they had cast everybody that all the musicians have been cast. There's a fellow, I don't know where they found this guy, and I'm forgetting his name. He's a young kid, but not only does he look like Bob Dylan, but he sounds like a young Bob Dylan.
Wow.
And he's very, very talented. So they have all these people who will be singing, and they have already made, I guess you could say, an album with the music. So it's going to be I think it's going to be, it's a really interesting script. It's a great script, and I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a hit, actually, or could very well be. And so I'm really proud to be involved in that. And so we're going to, most of it will be shot here on a set. They're going to try to do, because the gaslight is no longer there,
Right.
but they're going to try to duplicate the interior. But it's also going to be, there's going to be some scenes shot in New York too. But McDougal Street is has always been a big Greenwich Village, especially for music street. And I think even still now there's places you can hang out. I know when I used to live in New York, and there was a coffee shop on McDougal. It wasn't the Gaslight, but it was that I used to go to, and that's still there. And I just liked sitting around there. And it's like this, it's not like Panera or something. It was like really old. It looked like you were sitting in a coffee house in Italy, and it was very cool. So yeah.
Well, I definitely look forward to that, and I hope if he's doing the Bob Dylan, I hope that he sings. One of my favorite Bob Dylan songs is "The Times Are Changin'."
I think he does, actually. I think he did during when we had a stage show, and it was just a preview. Mm-hmm. It must have been before COVID, I guess, but it was at where was it? There was the Public Theater on the Pittsburgh's north side, and it went really well. And I'm amazed at how talented some of these people that they found across the country. I mean, it wasn't like they were sitting in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They found they're amazing. They found it's amazing. Yeah, and it was so. That's coming up. Yeah.
We look forward to that, and Dan-A-Plooza will support that. So
good. Thank you.
Now, can you tell me what it's like after all these years doing all these movies, and what it's like to do conventions and meet people in person who have watched your films and adore them?
Sure. It actually blows me away, because for a long time I thought no one would be interested in me, and I went. There was a convention. Now, this is now probably 8 to 10 years ago, but I went to one of the horror conventions in the Monroeville section of Pittsburgh, and it was at the Expo Center, which connects to the Monroeville Mall, where Dawn of the Dead was shot, and John Amplis was there, who has been, and John has been in probably the most George Romero films of anybody.
This is true.
And he said, "Mark, you really need to do these." And it just so happened also Greg Nicotero was doing it too. And and he had a book, and he was on Day of the Dead. He was an intern at that time, and he under Tom Savini, the Tulich, makeup master, and he was one of the people that worked on my makeup. My makeup in Day of the Dead took 2.5 to 3 hours. Wow. Yeah. And so he was there, and he had pictures, and he had a book there, and he had pictures of me. And I'm like, and he said, "Mark, really," he also said, "Mark, you really should be doing it." Right. And then when I was there, people started coming up to me for my autograph. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's where it started. But I really enjoy it, because I enjoy talking to people, and getting to know them and their interest in horror and specifically the Romero films, and I can and where they're from, and I just love chatting with people, and weirdly this maybe what was it, 2 months ago or so, there was the Living Dead convention here,
right?
And a family came up to me. I had met Kevin has opened a shop there, and he has the zombie museum or the Living Dead
Yeah,
museum.
in the mall. Yeah.
Yeah, in the mall. No, he's came. They invited him back, and I ran into these people, and I said, "Oh, we were talking," and they said, "Well, we'll come by your table." And they had a little boy, their son, with them, and he was like 5 or 6, and I talked to him. I did the little magic for him, and we talked. We were talking, and I said, "Well, I had done a scene in The Road."
Mm-hmm.
The the book that was turned into a movie. Okay, and the woman is I think she's a school librarian or school teacher, and she just contacted me like last week, and she wants me her students. I guess they're either junior high or high school. I've been reading The Road, and they're watching the movie, and she wants me to come in for about 45 minutes to an hour, and like this, online, and talk to her students about what that was like. And like, whoa, that's really interesting. So yeah, I agreed to do it. It's going to be, I think it's on the 10th of October. I'm doing that, but yeah. So that's what it is. Yeah, I just enjoy. People come up, and sometimes they want your autograph, and sometimes they just want to chat. And yeah. So
Yeah.
it's I find it rewarding. I really do enjoy it. Yeah.
It's actually the first time I met you was at a book signing in Barnes and Noble.
Oh, was it
The Car? Yeah.
Yeah, Making of the Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I went there, and there was you and Lee and I think John Amplis and
yeah,
some of the other actors. And I told my girlfriend, I go, I want to talk to Mark more, and like we saw you at the mall later, and then we just had like this conversation and picture, and like that's like the only thing I wanted to do that day was just talk to you more. And I still have that picture and everything, but like we had a whole conversation about it on the ride home. So
oh wow. Oh, that's cool. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I remember that I remember that event for Lee. That was pretty cool. That Barnes and Noble had picked up his book too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's pretty intense. I mean, to all that information. I mean, you ask him the most obscure thing. I mean, I barely remember a lot of it, and but he has all that. He has all that up here, and he's doing another book on Creepshow 2. He wanted to do the making of Creepshow, but I think he couldn't get permission.
Oh yeah, copyright.
So, yeah, and so, but he's doing Creepshow 2. So, and that was directed by Mike Gornick. So, and Mike's here in the area, so he has access to him. I think in fact, I think it's done. I think it's going to be published soon or coming out soon. So,
yeah, I'm sure horror fans will look forward to that and reading about it and collecting it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Is there anything else you'd like to say or promote before we end here?
I can't think of anything. I have something people might be interested in. A few years back, I did a series that Sci-Fi picked up. Mm-hmm. It was written and directed by Chris Prexta. It starred me and Kurt Wooten, but it's called The Mercury Men, and you can you can find it online. There actually is a zombie in it. We did everything, but it's 10 episodes, and it's very retro. It's black and white, but it looks like film noir, or a lot of people say it looks like the Twilight Zone, the old Twilight Zone TV show.
Oh yeah.
And it's great. I mean, it was really fun to do, and but you can find it online at mercurymen.com. It's men, it's plural.
Okay.
And the Mercury Men were from Mercury. they came to the Earth, and they brought their doomsday machine, and it's up to me and Jack to stop them.
We will stop them.
Yes, right. And as you can see, I'm a very powerful person, and but I play a bureaucrat, a nerdy bureaucrat who gets involved in this, like unwillingly gets involved. But yeah, but it's great. It's you can find it online now. Yeah, but Sci-Fi really enjoyed it, and they had it on their webpage for a year, actually.
Oh, so, wow. We'll definitely share and promote that.
Yeah.
So,
great.
I want to thank you for being my guest. Keep supporting Dan-A-Plooza. Next guest is Michael Ocho at 3 p.m. Take care.
Thank you.